What's up? So, I made a video on the depth of spirituality within our Western world. And if you haven't watched it, I actually recommend you go out and watch it, because I'm going to give some interesting insight. And in that particular video, I promise that I'm going to make a full guide on how to reclaim your spirituality. The thing is, though, I don't want to make one big video out of it because it is a deeper topic. So, I'm going to make a couple separate videos out of it. And the first video of that series is going to be how to get back to baseline. Because, bro, honestly, most people these days are not even people, man. They're like subhuman. They're bots at this point. They're like NPCs. And we have to first and foremost get you back to baseline, get you back to your natural state, which is being a human being. If you're new to this channel, my name is Aziz, and my goal here is to make a warrior out of you. I can't pronounce the fucking word. I want to make a warrior out of you in our modern day and age. And if you are interested in that, just hit the subscribe button down below, and I'll just dive into it. So one of the most crucial things that you have to develop is your spirituality. And the thing is, man, we have been told from a young age that these things are nonsense. Just to kind of recap the video about the depth of spirituality. Like from a young age on, we've kind of been drilled, especially from Western world, that things, like the only things that exist are like scientific measurable things, and that spirits in itself just do not exist. There's nothing higher than us. And this led to one of the biggest mental health crises that we've ever seen. We've got people who are depressed, people just wasting their lives away on a fucking grand scale. You have literally been transformed into an NPC from like a young age on, like from a baby. You were born as a human, and they literally turned you into a robot. We've all been there, man. Like, I was an NPC myself, but you can actually change it. You're not destined to be an NPC. You can take matters in your own hand. And there's so much energy, passion, and strength that you can draw from spirit, so you should not leave it out. This is like an OP thing. In my opinion, you're just dumb if you leave this out. This will be the same as going to the gym and not eating. Like, you're losing weight, but you're just fasting forever. Why would you leave out food if like there's so much you can gain from food? You get the, I mean, it's kind of a stupid example, but you get the idea. I want to give you a practical guide on how to reclaim your spirituality, and not some pussy shit like some internet gurus do. And like, most of these guides are super feminine, which is not a bad thing in itself. But the issue is that, look, there's value in it. There's value in it that you can use for yourself. But we as men, we need a primarily masculine guide. And bro, when you picture spirituality, what comes to mind? Probably some guy with like long hair, sitting in a lotus stance, and just practicing yoga with most of his teachings based in Indian philosophy. Which makes sense because their culture still has strong spiritual ties. But you have your own spiritual culture, which will probably suit you better. Like, you do not have to adopt Indian values if you want to be spiritual. You get what I'm saying, right? And my goal here is not to grant my philosophy onto you, because I have my own, and you're going to have your own. I have my own upbringing. I just want to I'll give you exercises and tools in order for you to forge your own philosophy. So anyway, first and foremost, bro, we gotta go back to baseline. So you are so detached from nature that your baseline is literally negative. You're not at zero. You're like minus 200. And the first thing that you have to do is that you have to be spending time outside. Spend time outside and get to know the earth again. You need physical contact with nature. You gotta touch trees, you gotta touch grass, you gotta wash your hands and face in a lake. You gotta feel sunlight touching your skin. You gotta see the moonlight. Those things are fundamental building blocks of the human experience, if you think about it. Because if you were to grow up in nature, right, those are things that you would do every single day for years. And those are things that we do, like, I mean, bro, when was the last time you went to like wash your hands in a lake? I mean, you maybe just don't have a lake nearby. I don't either, for example, so this rarely happens, right? But when was the last time you like genuinely felt, when was the last time you were sunbathing? Let's take this as an example. And like, getting sunlight is not just going for a quick walk when it's a cloudy ass fucking day, and like here in Germany, for example, but in a sense, actively receiving the sun. Like, we have occasional summer days where just people lay in their balcony and stuff, but I also mean just being outside. You gotta feel the nature. Walk barefoot through mud and stuff. Let your skin actually feel it. Think about how normal it has become for us to like just not see these things anymore. We're just always stuck in offices and school buildings, and it's not just about health and nutrients that you also receive from like the sun and the clean air. It's also about aesthetics and aestheticism. Bro, how the fuck my English is screwed, man. Aestheticism is actually a very spiritual thing. Living an aesthetic life will make you feel a lot more balanced and less distressed. And the thing is that there has to be a strong balance between nature and urbanized cities. Think about it. If you were to grow up in a village which only has like old buildings and maybe a couple of churches or temples or whatever, those things kind of blend in with nature. So think about it. You know these Minecraft villages, right? When we just walk like through the plains of Minecraft, and you would see that village. It kind of blends in because it's just made out of wood, glass, and like the only difference is that nature is really chaotic and architecture has structure. That's really the only real difference. But the thing is that we are so far from nature, because if you look at modern day buildings, especially from like a big city like a concrete jungle or so, you have endless houses, endless buildings, and nature again is chaotic. If you look at a tree, there's almost no tree on earth that's like perfectly symmetrical. It's always kind of uneven. Its texture is just completely messed up in a sense. But we kind of need that. We need that messy, chaotic aesthetic to it. There are no hard lines in nature. Things is always just kind of blending in. And if you are living in if you're in some kind of village again, like with old buildings and stuff, it's fine, bro. You don't really need to actively look out for it. But if you're from a big city, which is like a fucking concrete jungle, think Paris, Berlin, London, New York, whatever, these types of cities, you have to actively take time in nature. I recommend that you take 1 day of a week, or like once every 2 weeks. Just pick a day and go into the furthest point away from civilization that you can go to and spend some hours there. Like relax. Ideally, you would not be hearing any city sounds. I mean, if there's like a highway nearby, sure, you're gonna hear some cars and some shit. But ideally, you should hear like only natural sounds. Like that's it. Simply in order to balance that urbanized life that we have. And the next point is going to be diet. And like, dudes, I'm not gonna be telling you some fucking crazy brand new shit, but the issue is that your diet is most likely pure garbage. So my take here is that 80% of your diet should be ancestral, meaning that 80% of the things that you eat should be something that your ancestors were able to eat. So, me, for example, I am from the Caucasus region. We eat a fuckload of meats, just on a piece of dust. Anyway, so tons of meat, like rice, bread, watermelon. You get the idea, right? Like naturally God-given foods. Yogurt. It's a real big one. And 20% of my diet, I occasionally like make myself something that's really unhealthy. Quesadilla, for example, or snacks, fast food, things of that nature, soft drinks. So your diet should be based on things like meat, fish, dairy, potatoes, rice, breads, and fruits. And figure out what you really like and how to make proper meals out of it, like proper, natural, ancestral meals, so to say. Things that are, decently easy to make so that you can actually do them regularly, and things that you really enjoy eating. And here's a quick disclaimer. I will use the term natural a lot, and before some dickhead comes along and says something like, well, anything is natural because if it would be unnatural, it would be physically impossible to do. Bro, shut the fuck up, you know exactly what I mean. Like some people claim, for example, that like you see the gym, right? So I got this weight plate. This weight plate is not natural, but then some people would, you would not find it in nature. And some people will come up and be like, well, yeah, but we created it through like resources from nature, so it kind of is natural. And you have a point, but fuck off. Like, you know what I mean. I'm just gonna roll the script up. So, okay, you gotta go to nature. You gotta clean up your diet. You are what you eat. This is so fucking important, bro. My diet, for example, again, you don't have to eat what I eat, or just eat what I eat, more weird shit. So my diet is based on animal products. I eat a fuckload of meat, and I like my meat like kind of raw. I eat lots of eggs. I also eat like raw egg yolks, raw milk. We make yogurt at home, and I like cheese a lot. I also love bread. Wait, I gotta sneeze. Fucking hate this, man. When you like gotta sneeze, but it just doesn't come out. You know, it's triggering yourself. I eat lots of rice. I make rice in a rice cooker. Lentil soup, things of that nature. I also like culture foods like sinkali and stuff, but I can't really like dumplings, right? But I don't really digest them very well. But oh god, they're fucking tasty. So this is kind of like my diet: animal products, and I eat lots of fruits. I eat lots of watermelon, grapes, red grapes especially. So things of that nature, and just kind of figure out what you like. 80% of it natural. That's criteria. The next point is going to be music. You have to clean up your music playlist. Music is such a strong spiritual tool that bad music consumed regularly will actually fuck you up bad. So the music that we listen to actually influences on a subconscious level. If you listen to songs about drugs and sex, degeneracy and whatnot, guess what will happen to you? You're going to become a drug addicted degenerate. Simple as that. And distressing music will make you feel distressed. Who would have thought, right? Lyrics are highly important. The music that you consume is almost as important as the food you consume. And in fact, if you are more on the sensitive side, like I am, meaning that if I can feel however I want. If I listen to music that gives me some sort of mood, I'm just gonna adopt that mood immediately. It might, like, if you're in that boat as me, music might even be more crucial to you than actual food. If I listen to a depressing song, bro, I'm depressed within 2 seconds. Like that's just how it works. And also try to reduce the quantity of music that you listen to. Don't listen to it too much, because music is a stimulant, and you build a dopamine resistance if you keep listening to too much music. Dude, this will be the same as like if you so you have a bar of chocolate and you bite into it, you get like I'm just gonna make some numbers up. You're gonna get like a dopamine boost of fucking, I don't know, 20 points. The second bite is only gonna give you like a dopamine increase of like 17 points, and it always goes further down because your body just gets used to it. It's the exact same thing with music. So if you haven't listened to a song for a very long time, listen to it again, you get goosebumps, you feel energetic, you literally like vibing to it. If you listen to it on repeat for over and over again, like, best case you're just not gonna notice it. Worst case, it's gonna bother the fuck out of you. And I, for example, listen to stimulative music while lifting weights, meaning that music that has kind of, so not every kind of music stimulates you the same way. If you listen to music which is like very bassy, like boom, 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 and just very fast and like abrupt, it's a lot more stimulative than, let's say, classical or ambient style music. And while I'm lifting weights, for example, I obviously want stimulative music because it gets you going, right? Like you start to kind of live up, you get more in like flow state when it comes to like bodily activities. But if I do this kind of deep work, if I'm, let's say, writing YouTube scripts, I'm planning ahead, I'm planning appointments, what the fuck ever, so these types of like calm things, I like to listen to ambient style music, because if I listen to stimulative, like bass boosted and really like rhythmic music while I'm doing deep work, like sitting my ass down and writing some shit down, I'm gonna be fucking jumping in the air, like, you know, just move around all the time. So I listen to lots of ambient music. Background music from Elder Scrolls and Dark Souls, for example, which are my favorite video game series, or also like from Pokemon games, especially older ones, like from the Nintendo DS era. Also like one of my favorite games. Because this music kind of helps me, you don't really notice it that much, so you're not really getting hardcore stimulated. It just kind of sets up a good atmosphere, and it makes me feel really good. And the music that you listen to should either be spiritual or uplifting. So spiritual music could be things like, for example, what's the name for it? Like church chorals or throat singing. You get the idea. Things of that nature. So cultural music, in my opinion, is generally more on the spiritual side. Not always, but generally. And uplifting music meaning that music that makes you feel energetic. Now, obviously, you should, or not necessarily just energetic, but also just to uplift your mood. So music that benefits you, not music that necessarily makes you angry, except if you're like lifting weights or maybe if you're fighting and sparring or whatever. But music that just brings your dopamine up. And sad and gloomy music does have its place, and many of these are great pieces of art, but only listen to it very sporadically. If I listen to too much depressing and gloomy music, I'm gonna be a depressed and gloomy motherfucker. That's just how it works, because you're not just what you eat, you're also what you listen to. And like 5% of the music you listen to should be sad maximum, in my opinion. Because here's the thing, sad music does have, like, it helps you kind of reflect on your own thoughts, and you know, it makes you feel understood. It's sometimes good to like take care of your emotions, to get to know them and stuff, right? But if you do this on a regular basis, like if you do this too often, the thing is that your negative state of being, you being sad or depressed, whatever, is going to be like your baseline. How should I say? Like your baseline mood, your base mood. And that's just gonna hinder you from like doing anything really. Like, you're just gonna be in your fucking bed sobbing all the time. So, in my opinion, if you are simply going like through your day, you're driving your car, you're going to school, and you've got earphones, do not listen to very stimulative music. Keep that stimulative music for when you actually need it, meaning when you train or when you need like extra boost of motivation, things like that. And most of the time, listen to more ambient style music. Again, my recommendations for that are just the Elder Scrolls background music, or the Majula theme song from Dark Souls 2. I fucking love this one. Background music from Zelda is really, really good. So The Legend of Zelda, Pokemon, things of that nature. And to kind of just rewrap this whole video, you have to clean up. Wait, no, you gotta spend time in nature. You have to have physical contact in nature. This is undeniably the most important thing. If you're not spending time in nature, you are subhuman, bro. And I'm not using the term subhuman as an insult, meaning that you're like below when it comes to your worth, but more so that you're just simply, you dehumanize yourself. Like at this point, you're a robot. That's what I mean by subhuman. So you have to get back to nature in order to get back to your baseline before you can even consider doing anything spiritual. Next thing, you have to clean up your diet, because you are what you eat. 80% of the things that you eat should be natural ancestral food. And I'm not gonna argue about like some dickhead with this, but people can be like, well, actually, like modern processed food is not even that good. Shut the fuck up, bro. Like, bro, I'm not gonna eat some lab-made sausage or some shit. I'm not gonna do that. I want earth food, simple as that, because that's what my body wants, that's what my body needs. And third point, you have to clean up your music. You have to clean up the art that you consume, not just music, but I would say music is the most influential one. So if you play a video game, for example, it's not gonna influence you that much, to be honest with you. Like, it's, if you play like, whether you play Dark Souls or whether you play Super Mario, it's not really going to, I mean, it will have some influence on you, but the stimuli just kind of, they're not really different. But music influences you on such a grand, deep scale. No degenerate music whatsoever. Zero. I do not want you to listen to anything degenerate. That is just fucking pure suicide. It's the exact same thing as eating junk food or taking drugs or some shit. So internalize it. Spend time in nature, eat ancestral food, listen to good music. So thanks for watching the first one. Yeah, I hope you're looking forward to the second episode, and I would like to hear your thoughts and opinions on the comments down below, and I wish you a fantastic day.